This is a brief video just to cover a topic that is often very confused for students. We often relate ethnicity and race as the same thing. We often assume that they mean the same thing and incorporate the same thing, but there's actually a difference, and that's why I do these brief videos to kind of discuss in a little bit more detail how to differentiate between terms that are can be confusing. So when we look at race versus ethnicity, race is a social construct, meaning that there is really no actual biological differentiation between race. And you'll notice that in the race video that you're going to watch in the reflection assignment. But race is actually just categories of people based upon physical characteristics. And as you can see, race is directly related to just physical characteristics: skin color, facial shape, features, shape of features, body size or structure, and most often it's based on skin color. And these are just categories that our society places people in to differentiate one group of individuals versus another group of individuals who have shared physical characteristics. Now, ethnicity often includes race. Not always, but it can include race. But it incorporates much more than that. And when I try to teach ethnicity, I try to really focus on the most important aspect of ethnicity, and that's the group that one identifies with. This could include a lot of things. Often ethnicity, it might include race, but it might not. It often includes things like nationality. So nationality, it could be race, it could even be religion, it could be to some extent it could have to do with language or aspects of culture, overall cultural aspects. So for example, I try to use this as a specific example for ethnicity. In the psychology department, we have an administrative assistant, and her name is Trina Hillary. And she typically comes into my class and speaks to the whole class when I have in-person psych and culture classes, just as a guest speaker. And I think she explains this so well that I'm hoping that this translates over. But she talks about how when she was growing up, she was told she was African American. And so she just kind of assumed, like, as growing up, people assumed, oh, she's African American. Well, that's a combination of nationality, and even to some extent race is included in that, because when we think African, we typically are thinking a race of black is what we typically think of, which is inappropriate actually, because there are many white people on that continent of Africa. So she actually told me that she does not identify as African American. She actually identifies as Black American. And the reason she said that she identifies with that is because she knows nothing about her African ancestry. She knows nothing about the African culture, but she is American, and she's a Black American, and she feels that by taking on a general racial term, that she can also incorporate the fact that she also is part Native American, which people just don't assume, because that doesn't come across in her physical characteristics necessarily. So her ethnicity, she identifies as Black American. So it incorporates a little bit more as far as just race. It can incorporate much more. So a lot of people who come from different areas, like in the Middle East, let's just use that as an example, and that's very broad as far as the area or the nationality. They might not actually use nationality to describe themselves, but if, let's say, they're Muslim and then they come here and become American citizens, often they'll identify themselves as Muslim American. Well, that is their religion and then nationality now, and so they're identifying as Muslim American, and that is their ethnicity. Doesn't even matter what race necessarily, but that's who they identify with.